Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Once again, Joe Nice coming to you as always live and direct on a February 22nd, 2021, February 22, 2021, February 22, 2021. Coming to you with a quick video because I haven't been on the live and direct stream on the Joe Nice Network in a while. And I wanted to engage and re-engage with many of you because it's important. It's important that we keep the dialogue moving and grooving, and we keep everything in the proper perspective and moving onward and upward. So I had a couple of posts over the weekend where I showed a JNN t-shirt, the Joe Nice Network t-shirt that is forthcoming. There's a couple of other designs that are on the way. My man Darian had that cartoon caricature head of me from a couple of summers ago when I didn't have the beard. That's coming. There's a couple of other designs that are on the way. If you remember the picture that was taken by my friend Ben from this past summer of 2020, there was a picture of me standing in front of City Hall by myself, and you can see the massive Baltimore City Hall building and then little old me in the lower left-hand corner. That photograph is on a t-shirt. The name of that picture is, I came up with this a while back, we're going to call it Citizen versus the City. That is going to be on a t-shirt soon because people like the picture and people like the idea that that photograph represents, and it's quite appropriate now more than ever. And people are also, and there's another picture that Ben took of me where I'm standing in front of City Hall by myself. It's a much closer view of me where I've got a protest sign and got my water bottle and my man bag and everything else. And I'm standing there in front of Baltimore City Hall. And that picture is called The Power of One. And that is also going to be on a t-shirt shortly. And we got a few other designs. There's some, we'll revamp some Gourmet Beats stuff because people still like to get a t-shirt from time to time that says Gourmet Beats on it. So we'll do that. If you can see my logo, let me try that again. Over here, there's my logo. We're going to put that on a t-shirt. Maybe we'll see if people like it. And then we're seeing another one forthcoming. You'll see it here. And let's see if I can put the camera down on this. There it is. If you remember my speech from the People's Power Assembly a few months back, I said there's 4 fights that everybody's dealing with right now. There are 4 fights that Black people have had to deal with for over 400 years. The fight for humanity, the fight for freedom, the fight for equality, and the fight for survival. This is coming. We're going to do this in multiple colors. We're going to have this white shirt with black lettering. We're going to have a black shirt with white lettering. And then we're going to do a gray shirt. And I think the gray shirt is going to have black lettering also. And there's actually been a couple of gray shirts that we've put out in the universe already, and people like the gray design also. It's going to be a nice dark heather gray. So we've got some designs coming along the way. Some of them are just going to be a white t-shirt only. For example, the photograph t-shirts, I think, just look better on white. So we're just going to leave them white. For some of the other designs, we're going to do them in white, and we'll do them in black, and we'll do them in gray. We're not going to overcomplicate this. We're not going to have, teal blue or lime green or, any of these nail polish colors with the merchandise. We're not going to do that. The JNN shirt, I think the JNN is going to be white for the most part. We may do a few black just because some people like the black logo, the black shirt with the red logo. We might do some of those. It's a bit more of a difficult printing process, but we'll figure that out. My people, Zach and Andrew, they'll sort that out. But other than that, we're getting things moving, and we're going to get some garments on the street because for a while I've been looking to get some more stuff out there for the world, but I didn't know what that would look like. And not that I'm not about Gourmet Beats anymore. I still am. It's just the time isn't right for that now because people aren't buying records as much as they used to. Nobody's playing shows. So I needed to kind of shift my focus to other endeavors. And now more than ever, I think it's important that I put out not only a positive message, but garments that represent that positive message and mindset. So I think I'm gonna do more of that. in the forthcoming days. And we'll make sure everybody has an opportunity if you want to go ahead and get some of what we're going to be making up shortly. Well, there'll be plenty of places to do that. We'll let everybody know in due course, scope, and time. So everybody can eventually, when we all go back to meeting each other and hanging out and spending time with each other, you can be wearing clothing that not only feels good and is made responsibly, but has a positive message behind it. Because that's important. That actually matters also. And when you see somebody standing in front of City Hall against a citizen versus the city, there's meaning in that. When you see somebody standing in front of City Hall by himself with a protest sign with progressive ideas like Medicare for all and ending the wars and reparations for American descendants of enslaved Africans and rewriting the Constitution, there's meaning in that. And those are ideas that I think any reasonable person would look at and say, you know what? Yeah, I'll support that. I like that idea. That makes sense. I can agree with that. Everybody should have health care. We should end the wars. So we're going to put out clothing that represents those ideals because that matters. And this one here, humanity, freedom, equality, and survival, that is also important because, again, everybody is dealing with those four fights now. Like I said in the People's Power Assembly speech, Black people have had to deal with that fight for over 400 years. I know I've talked about this on many instances on my live chats. Humanity. At one point, Black people were not considered human beings. Black people were considered 3/5 of a human being. Look up the 3/5 compromise. Freedom. Black people were not free until the ratification of the 13th Amendment, which happened in 1865. Equality. Black people didn't get equality as an equal protection under the law until the 14th Amendment of the United States, which happened, I think, in 1868. Survival. Look at white supremacy. Look at police genocide. Look at food deserts. Look at wealth inequality and income inequality. Look at educational access. Look at medical apartheid. Robert Nesta Marley said, Buffalo Soldier, dreadlock Rasta, fighting on arrival, fighting for survival. What did he mean by that? He meant that Black people that were trafficked from Africa and brought to North America, which is now known as the United States, on or about August 20th, 1619, we were fighting on arrival, fighting for survival. That is what he meant by that. And that fighting for survival is still ever present in today's society, not only in the United States, not only in Canada, but around the world. And I had a post on my Facebook last night where I said I miss seeing everybody and I miss spending time with my friends around the world. I absolutely meant every consonant, vowel, and word in those couple of sentences that I posted on my Facebook page. I meant every word of it. I miss all of my people from around the world, all of you. And I've been to a lot of countries and a lot of places, and I've spent a lot of time with a lot of people. Some of you who may be watching, some of you who might watch this later on. There are some places I haven't been to in a while. There are some places that I want to visit again. There's some people I need to see again. And I'm hoping sometime soon, I can start getting back on airplanes again and flying around and spending time with people and vibing and being out late and getting up early in the morning and getting on my airplanes again and running through airports, hopefully sitting in the big seats on United Airlines in first class. And getting back to doing what I know how to do. And maybe doing it a bit more sustainably and a bit more sensibly. I had a lovely conversation with my ex-girlfriend a couple of days ago, and she told me that, she said, Joe, you weren't grounded. You haven't been grounded for a while. This has been the longest time you've ever spent in one place. I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. And it feels strange. It feels strange. This has been the longest that I've been still. And it does feel strange because I'm so used to being on the move and constantly going. And now the ability to constantly move and go has been taken from me and, I don't know, 7.5 billion other people around the world. So we'll see. Rambo saying, ever since Black people arrived on Turtle Island fighting for survival. Absolutely, brother. You already know what it is. Matt Kelly said, we miss you, Joe. Miss you too, Matt Kelly. Miss you too, Matt Kelly. Hopefully I can get out again and get back into it. But even if shows do come back, I mean, I don't know what we're going to be coming back to, but there's a whole lot of other stuff that I'm interested in doing. I mean, I've got some education underneath my belt. There's a couple of master's degrees on the wall, and I figured I just, we want to talk about social justice stuff. Okay? Let's do that. Because none of us are going to be around forever, but if we have knowledge that's important that would benefit anybody and or everybody, we should be sharing that knowledge. We should be sharing that knowledge. We should be using that for good. And I think it's time to do that. Tony Davis said, we're getting there slowly but surely. I feel you on being grounded. It can be a good switch up, but it can also feel meh when life on the road is what you're used to. Absolutely, Tony Davis. I mean, I shared this story with a few people. In 2018, I flew over 120,000 miles that year, and I was in, I think, 19 or 20 different countries. And in 2018, there was 1 month where I didn't fly anywhere. And I think it was May because I was finishing up the second master's degree. So I just couldn't, I was too busy finishing up an internship. And my internship was in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I was living in Winston-Salem. So half hour out, half hour back every day driving to do that. In addition to the work I was doing with meeting with these Burmese refugees and lining up interpreters and translators for the project that I was assigned to work on. And then 6 classes, and then a project. And the paper I had to write for that project, gosh, it was like a 57 or 58 page paper. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous paper. And there wasn't any data for what I wrote my paper on. Then we had to do a video presentation of it. And if y'all are interested in watching that video, friendly folks at Wake Forest filmed it. It's about an 18 or 20 minute video of me talking about secondary traumatization for healthcare interpreters. It was a lot. It was a lot. So, yeah. So after all of that, yeah. So I didn't fly anywhere, I think, in May. So yeah, it was a busy, busy time. 2019, I did like 99,000, almost 100,000 miles. And there were about 2 months of that year where I didn't go anywhere or do anything. Last year, I did 43,000 miles in under 90 days. And last year was going to be ugly with the amount of stuff I was planning to do, but COVID. And this year, I haven't been on an airplane at all, and I don't see that happening in the foreseeable future. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I've crazily enough, I've actually been offered a couple of gigs already, but I'm just like, you know what? I can't really be out here. It's, people are saying, oh, it's COVID safe, but how do you know that? How do you know that? And I appreciate the people that have been offering. It's been wonderful, and I would love to come out and play, especially some of the places I've been offered to play in some cities that I haven't been to in a long time that I would like to visit. But hey, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It's about 10 of you watching. I appreciate all 10 of you watching. I appreciate that. Tomorrow on the Joe and Cat Chat series, episode number 37 of the Joe and Cat Chat series will be Men in the Civil Rights Movement. We got about 10 brothers that we're going to be talking about. And we're going to profile each of them and tell you why you should be paying attention to them. because this is still Black History Month. And quite honestly, Black history is American history. So we should be talking about the 10 men that we are going to discuss just as much as anybody else that we would talk about in the other 11 months that make up a calendar year. You know, every time we talk about George Washington, we should be talking about John Brown. Every time we talk about Abraham Lincoln, we should be talking about Marcus Garvey. Every time we talk about Thomas Jefferson, who quite honestly really shouldn't be talked about that much. Every time we talk about Thomas Jefferson, we should be talking about Nelson Mandela. And again, I've been a proponent of this. I think we need to do a cultural autopsy on the institutions that make up the United States culture. And that's noise you hear in the background, that is rain. The skies have just opened up in North Carolina, and it is a torrential downpour. My gosh. Wow. Yeah, it looks like someone just turned on the water. Faucets on. Tony Davis saying, I agree. I think patience is key. I'd Ather, I know you meant to say rather, but I actually read what people type. Get back normal right than dragging the process over years in regards to COVID, not social injustices. Patience is key. Patience is key. And as I said before, I would say probably an unhealthy amount of news during the day, but none of it is from the United States. I'm watching quite a bit of French 24. I'm watching DW, Deutsche Welle, which is a German news organization. I do enjoy some TRT World from time to time. TRT World from time to time. That's a whole lot of alliteration of one sentence. And it looks as if the United Kingdom, the country of my birth, is going to go ahead with a plan to move forward with ending the lockdowns and other restrictions. Schools are going to be reopened on March 8th. Not all the teachers have been vaccinated. I see this as a potential disaster for the UK. There's talk of potentially opening up gyms and restaurants to a greater capacity in April or early May. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There was also something that I was watching earlier today on RT, and I do watch my share of RT. And they were talking about vaccine apartheid in Africa, how some countries have not received any doses of the vaccine at all. I think, for example, Nigeria was the country in question. Nigeria has had, I think, a couple of dozen vaccines so far. Nigeria, one of the richest countries in the world. Let me rephrase that. One of the most populated countries in the world. Nigeria is 150, 160 million people. There's a whole lot of Nigerians in that one land mass. And they're struggling to get the virus. With all the oil money in that country, they're struggling to get the virus. I'm sorry, not the virus, but the vaccine. If you want to learn more about vaccines and medical apartheid, you can listen to a couple of episodes of the Joe and Cat Chat series. Out to Tastemakers Radio, we're going to be doing that. We're simulcasting our show every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, so 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Tastemakers Radio Network on Dash Radio, dashradio.com. Look up Tastemakers Radio. You'll find Joe and Cat Chats there. And we're going to slowly get all of the episodes of the Joe and Cat Chat series, all 36 of them, posted over there. So you can listen to them, download them. Because, you know, there are some people that just don't want to watch a video. They'd rather listen to me and Cat talk for 60 minutes, and that's fine. Go for it. It's a lot easier to ride a bike and listen than ride a bike and watch, or be on the treadmill, or driving. So I have said all I wanted to say for right now, and I appreciate everybody watching. Thanks to each of you. And again, this is the next shirt that's coming: humanity, freedom, equality, and survival. It's the 4 fights. It's the 4 fights that everyone's dealing with right now. And we're all going to have to deal with these 4 fights in some way or another. And we're all dealing with them. And now, I think realistically, all at the same time. Because quite honestly, being locked indoors is rather inhumane. Not being able to travel is against freedom. Seeing centibillionaires and centimillionaires get richer while the majority of people struggle to pay their bills. That's a fight for equality. And there are plenty of people. Look at what's happening in Texas right now. There's a whole lot of people in Texas that don't have electricity. There are people in Texas that don't have running water, that are melting snow to flush their toilets. The team owner of the Houston Texans is handing out food boxes in Houston, Texas right now. That is a fight for survival. So we're all dealing with it. Alan, I love your hat. Stay healthy, Joe. Yeah, brother. It's Wake Forest. It's where I got master's degree number 2. Wonderful institution in beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina. One of the top 30 universities in the United States. All good. Tony Davis saying, keep fighting the good fight. Hope to see you soon. Hope to see you soon, brother Tony. Like the avatar. Where is that? Shambhala? Where is that, bro? I can't tell what festival that is, but it looks like a festival. The Shambhala is at Base Coast, Future Forest, Evolve, Infrasound. I can't tell. Can't tell from the picture. Then again, these avatars on StreamYard are a bit small, but it's okay. It's no big deal, no sweat. We do what we can, and we make the best of what we have. Tony saying, you know it, growth for life. Well, you already know what it is, man. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. The Grove is the place to be. Speaking of Shambhala and Canada and festivals, out to my brother Matt the Alien, who's slowly on the bed. We love you, Matt. We miss you. We're thinking of you, and we're wishing you a speedy recovery. Matt's been, gosh, I think he's played 19 or 20 Shambhalas in a row. He's played every stage at least 3 times. That's a legend right there, everybody. That's a true legend. For real. For real. I'm out, everybody. Peace.